we criticized the Democratic Labour Party on the issue of transparency. And 2 weeks ago, I really hate to call his name because it grates whenever I have to mention it. A man named, again, Guy Samirs, the General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party, a man who was paid $300,000 to do a project for the last administration, and he failed miserably. There wasn't a transparency with that. You get paid, but there wasn't a transparency with that. But he wanted to say that there was an absence of transparency in our dealings with a company called White Oak. White Oak. And you've seen some of the things that they've said. Now let me explain something to you, see. If you have ever been ill, do you find everywhere possible to get the finest medical attention? And you will borrow what you have to borrow, but when it comes to the issue of saving your life or your child's life or your parents' life, you do not spare any effort. Our country was on its deathbed. And it was taken to its deathbed by people called the Democratic Labour Party who now want to talk about White Oak. Now, let me tell you something about White Oak. You know, the old people say, a stitch in time saves 9. Well, this company, White Oak, that we are criticized for hiring, in 2011, on the 28th of June, wrote a letter, this company, White Oak, on the 28th of June 2011, wrote to the then Minister of Finance, a man named Christopher Sinclair. White Oak wrote Chris Sinclair in 2011. And they introduced themselves to the government of Barbados, and they said this: in recent months, we have been closely following developments in Barbados. We understand that there has been some deterioration in public debt indicators and that you are currently in discussions with the IMF over possible strategies for placing the debt burden on a declining path over the medium term. We would welcome an opportunity to present our credentials and to discuss with you how White Oak can leverage its sovereign debt management expertise to help the Barbadian government achieve its debt objectives. Now, a stitch in time saves 9. White Oak came in and assisted this Barbados Labour Party administration, saving us $1 billion a year in interest payments. Had Chris Sinclair had the common sense or common decency to listen to White Oak in 2011, you would have buses on your road. And you would have good roads for them to drive on. Had he listened in 2011, well, White Oak, realizing that Chris Sinclair, they know what they're doing, decided to write another letter in 2014. But they didn't know that they were going from bad to worse. Because this letter that they wrote on the 20th of February 2014, they sent it to Frondell Stewart. Well, if you ain't getting nothing out of Sinclair, you ain't gonna get nothing at all out of Frondell. White Oak. So White Oak wrote another letter to those hard-ears Dems and said, we understand that the government of Barbados wishes to identify and evaluate the strategic alternatives that may be available to the authorities for addressing what? Debt challenges currently facing the country. And again, they offered the services. 7 pages of letter. This White Oak. And that, if Frondell Stewart still had a desk, the letter would still be on the desk. And, that's why we love them so, called the persistent. They're persistent in dealing with the current creditors that we dealing with. They're persistent. And they were persistent then too. Give me 2 more minutes. Because they wrote Chris Singler again. The 29th of September 2017. But one of the curious features about writing Chris Singler again is this. Again saying that we are available, they said, but we understand that there's a company called New State. New State Partners, I believe it is. New State Partners. That is working with the government of Barbados. Now, New State Partners was brought in by the then governor of the former governor of the Central Bank, you know his name, Carlisle Worrell, to help the government deal with the same debt challenges. Carlisle Worrell brought them in and said, this is it. We want your help. We want your help. Carlisle Worrell did that. But New State, life is funny. New State is now working for the overseas creditors who trying to lock off with fraud. And you know who working with them? The same Carlisle Worrell. The man who was supposed to protect our foreign exchange and to help to stave off our debt crisis brought New State to Barbados and is now working with New State to help lock off our neck. They say no transparency. He says, Guy Samir said, but you know, you all should have tendered. Now, that's the most absurd thing you could ever want to hear. Because when we came to government, we had no time to tender. If we had come to government and tendered a tendering process, by the time you get the ad in the papers, would have taken 2 weeks. And then the tenders got to be out there for another 6 weeks. Because this is, you can't find people in Barbados to do it, so you got tender all over the world. And then you would have had to make a decision and decide. By then, the patient called Barbados would have been stone dead. The matter for discussion at our first cabinet meeting was whether or not we should engage this same company, White Oak, that has done 7 of the largest restructurings, 7 of the last 11 restructurings over the last 10 years, a company with impeccable record. And we did it. We made the decision at our first cabinet meeting. They want you to believe that we hatched this and a decision was taken by your cabinet at its first meeting. They're playing the music, but let me tell you this, right? Let me tell you this. White Oak is saving us $1 billion a year, and their fees are millions of dollars. But we recognize that our situation was so grave. Grave is the word. We were in the grave that we had to find the finest skills that money could buy to help to resurrect this country. And White Oak was it.